have this written down, but I never thought of blaming Joe for the economic meltdown over the last couple of years. Give me a whole new thing to think about. So, what I will say is we're going to cover a couple of things. One, I want to talk about some hindsight to 2012. Talk about some forecasting into 2013, which is largely what we all came here for in the first place. Talk a little bit about what types of jobs, what types of employment types are in high demand. And then finally, just to share a few of what I believe are game-changing best practices to be proactive versus reactive in the face of what we're looking at, which is a shortage in skilled labor in town. So I sat up here last year, about a year ago today, and talked about what to expect in 2012. And I got really nervous to say, if I do this in 2013, I'd hate to look back and say, wow, I was way off last year, and now I have to give you a forecast this year. The good news is we were pretty much spot on. Conservative optimism is what we looked at, and we saw across the board in New Hampshire about a 14% increase in hiring by and large. Now that's not a 14% decrease in unemployment. A few things I want to disclaim. One, all the data I'm going to talk about, instead of talking about each individual as I come up with percentages and things like that, come from areas like the New Hampshire Department of Unemployment Security, Bureau of Labor Statistics, Gartner Group studies, a couple of independent marketing studies that we stole from, but credited appropriately. And then our own data as well. We are a group of 3 staffing companies. We've completed about 1,500 to 1,700 filled jobs in the New Hampshire area last year. And while that comes across as maybe a soulless plug for how great a company we are, it also gives a little bit of credibility as to our finger on the pulse of the marketplace. So, year in review, 2012. New Hampshire closed with a relatively flat adjusted unemployment rate. Adjusted versus unemployment rate, you'll see different numbers all over the place, but for the most part, relatively flat unemployment rate. We didn't do a whole lot better, we didn't do a whole lot worse. We also saw the unemployment rate drop nationally, which is also a good thing, by about a point. New Hampshire still remained about 3% or 3 points below the national average. The good news for us is that as of last year, the unemployment rate in New Hampshire was significantly lower than that of pretty much every other state in New England. We also saw were states that were starting to catch up around us. There are some people here in the Granite State that feel as though New Hampshire has to be competitive on every level with every state that borders it. The fact that the other states are catching up in terms of unemployment is a good thing. On a national basis, we saw about 500,000 new jobs added in Q4 of last year. This is good stuff. What's more compelling, though, is where the employment increases really came from in the first place. About 30% of those 500,000 jobs added were in business services. So what does that tell us? I'm not going to go through a show of hands to get an idea. I think we all figured out how we. In short, what that means is business is picking up, the economy is gaining traction, and business services are essentially essential. I almost said that on camera. Needed. Everyone get that out of the whack, all right? The services are needed to help businesses keep up with their increased demand for products and services. Even more compelling is just a general weekend warrior economist. 38% of those 500,000 jobs fell into hospitality and retail. For the most part, hospitality and retail tells us that people are spending more and more money on things that they don't have to spend money on. If you're going out to a restaurant, you can go home and make that food at your house for a cheaper price. But people have a few more dollars in their pocket, which tells us, by and large, consumer confidence is high. What I like that we're seeing right now, by the way, is if you go back and analyze trends from when we came out of recessions back in the mid-90s, back in about 10 years before that, the same trends were apparent coming into really strong markets. Consumer confidence high, business services hiring was high. In most cases, if you see a hiring spike and business service hiring in consumer confidence-oriented roles like hospitality and retail, you don't tend to have as much of a sustainable growth pattern, if that makes sense. Begs the question on where. Now we talk a little bit about where we're going, and we can go to the next slide. So who's in demand? This is sort of funny because you look at the massive struggle of what data repositories to actually trust. If you go across the board in pretty much every labor shortage report, go to the Bureau of Labor Stats and try to slice and dice that spaghetti mess, and so on and so forth, you're going to come to find out that healthcare and by and large nursing on a national basis is the most in-demand skill set. That said, about 3 or 4 days ago, there was a big article right in the center of CNN's homepage which says, I'm a nurse and I can't find a job. It was a very long article about how nurses can't find jobs despite the fact that nursing is a high-demand field. If any of you are considering where to send your children to college, nursing is never a bad call. Human resource professionals are also in extremely high demand. I'm going to go through, Indeed.com is an aggregator of job posting. And so what they do is somewhere between 1.5 and 2 million new job posts are recognized by Indeed.com. And what we came to find out were the fastest growing growing categories of posts were in the hospitality sector, human resources, accounting, and information technology. So by and large, human resources are growing. What does that tell us? Companies are actually, when companies are investing in human resource related professionals, they are investing in the strategic growth of their company. They're wanting to focus heavily on compensation, on benefits, on the overall employee experience. Finance and accounting professionals reassessing financial strategies and just having to deal with increased accounts receivable. It's pretty rare to see an economy that's about to go bad hiring tons and tons of accounting professionals in a professional role. And then also in the software and mobility development, nowhere to be found, by the way. I think what we've seen with a lot of companies over the last few years is everyone is in survival mode. Let's just keep the company alive. Now we are in innovation mode and creating new products and creating new services. As far as New Hampshire unemployment goes, human resource related unemployment is at 2.1% in the state. Accounting professionals unemployment rate is 1.6%. Information technology professionals is 0.9% comparative to what the statewide unemployment is. Okay. So locating the talent, best practices. And I don't have it up here on the slide, but what I would say is anybody in this room, whether you influence hiring or you have somebody, the ear of somebody who influences hiring, the take-home message here is get proactive versus reactive. Companies that are reactive in boom markets where the employment pool or the labor pool becomes short overnight, it's very, very expensive to try to play catch up. So, interesting statistic. 80% of 2012 hires across the country involve some level of social media. Now, does that mean that the hiring took place exclusively through a Facebook chat room and there was no face-to-face interaction or anything like that? Absolutely not. But it did mean that there was a job posting out there somewhere, or there was some sort of interaction, background check. Sorry, what is the orange one behind here later? It means I have to quiet. It's predicted that 86% of the hiring in 2012 is going to include some means of social media. What does that mean? Get on Facebook, get on Twitter, get your job posts out there somewhere. At least dip your toe in the water if you're not already there. Your own backyard, meaning your own employee base is where you're going to find your next superstar. When you can't find employees, the companies that win are the ones that can develop talent themselves. So there's companies that go out and find talent, there's companies that develop talent. So if your company isn't heavily invested in training right here and now, it'll never be easier and never be cheaper to develop and enhance your training program than it is today. It'll be monumentally expensive, if not criminally expensive. Try to implement that a year, 2 years down the road, but the labor shortage is increasing significantly. And finally, partner with your local college or university. A lot of people that have a hard time doing that because education and business speak doesn't always mesh all that well. I'm just going to tell a really quick story. I was dealing with a college administrator recently, and I said, there's a company right down the road here that would love to partner with you and provide you with interns. And they said, well, I'm right here. They can just come in and talk. The reality is that most employers don't know that. They don't know it's available. I just recently, it's a true story, I recently found out about 2 years ago that I could go to the customer